stage game for you. What's this like? What's the mindset switch for this squad?
Yeah, as you said, first knockout game for me, but it's just intense focus, intense concentration, and I feel like that's what's going to be the key component for us to go out there and do well.
What about Bosnia? How did the games against Paraguay and Australia, two teams who tend to play on the low block, prepare you for a team that will play on the low block?
Yeah, playing against a lower block is never easy. It's going to be a challenging game, and then on top of that, World Cup knockout game. It's not something we're going to take lightly. So we're looking forward to just going out there. We know we're going to need to be creative. We know we're going to need to be intense, like we have been, so far. And there's no doubts we can go out there and win.
So, like a lot of the starters, it would be a 12-day layoff for you between games. How have you stayed fresh? How are you going to stay fresh, maintain momentum with that break?
Yeah, the training's helped with that. I think Tim said it earlier, but the training, some of our sessions are more intense than the actual game. So, in terms of losing rhythm and being fresh, that's not my concern. The coaches and the staff do a good job in keeping us ready.
Well, the fans, the media are sort of overlooking Bosnia as the game that you guys are going to dominate and roll over. But internally, how do you sort of avoid that, looking ahead and prepare for a team that could be dangerous and that's not to be taken lightly? How have you guys prepared internally for it?
Yeah, just to not be complacent. We're gonna start to do more of our analysis and preparation for Bosnia, and what's said outside, we have no control over that. We can only control what we can control, and we're going to prepare for this game like any other. Huge respect to Bosnia, because they're also, in the round of 32, and they've also qualified out of their group. But we definitely aren't going to be complacent and listen to what's been said outside.
Well, there was a lot of talk about momentum after that Turkey loss. How do you guys see how the group stage prepared you for the knockout round?
Yeah, I think now everyone within our team, I think everyone has the experience of playing. Everyone has the opportunity of being out there, in front of the fans and experiencing the pressure and the atmosphere and the occasion. So I feel like that prepares us in the best way possible to go out there and be united and be together.
Do you guys buy into the momentum thing at all, though?
Not me personally. I think we did have a good game against Turkey. So even though the result may have not followed, but I think there was lots of positives to take. I felt on a personal level, Sebastian played a fantastic game, and that's what these games are about, to try and go out there and win. Unfortunately we didn't do that, but it doesn't take away from good individual performances.
Balo, just on the note about training earlier, did you guys train on the day of the game as well? If you knew you weren't going to
No.
How'd you spend your off day?
I just spent it chilling. I went on a boat. I just spent it relaxing, to be honest. But yeah, it was really nice.
What type of boat?
It wasn't a super yacht. It was just it was just a regular boat. But I just wanted to be out in the water, and it just helps me switch off.
What are your thoughts about this opportunity you guys have to do something special here over the next few weeks? The World Cup. So many people already in the country excited about what they've seen from you.
Yeah, there's no hiding. We do have the opportunity to do something extremely special. So, you can't have the good with the bad. We have the opportunity to do something very special, but we also, can lose, and it'll be a lot of commiserations and a lot of annoyed people and upset people. So, as I said, you can't have the good without the bad, but we definitely do have the opportunity to really make a fantastic run.
So, as somebody that grew up most of their life overseas, how has your connection with this country kind of grown week over week in this tournament, and seeing the reaction from people outside and just the excitement of it all?
Yeah, I feel a lot more connected. I feel whenever you spend long periods of time anywhere, you start to adjust, you start to adapt, and for me it's no different. I've really just fell in love with the energy and just the ambition, just seeing how united the country's been, and that's something I've taken a lot of pleasure in. So I'm very excited to going out there on Wednesday and just giving almost that another boost, another reason for the crowd and for the nation to cheer.
Has that almost given you more pride in wearing the badge during this time?
Yeah, most definitely, without a question.
When you look at what's ahead for you guys, without overlooking Bosnia, but you got teams like Belgium, Senegal, Paraguay, Portugal, Spain. Right? Those teams you can't make mistakes against. They'll make you pay. Even Bosnia is a team in that way. How do you guys like focus on tightening things up?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go out to practice today after this, and that will be the aim of the game. To try and continue to reduce mistakes and continue to increase offensive chances, and that's no different to what we've been doing all year round. Since Pochettino's come in. So the benefit for us as players is, even though we're playing a knockout game, not too much is going to change in terms of how we've been coached.
Last question.
Well, obviously you guys have had a good run, won the group, but if you don't go on or lose, that's all for nothing in a sense. Is that your sort of mentality, that the job is nowhere near to be finished and that you're not content with anything that's already happened?
Yeah, for me personally, that's how I would describe it. Yeah. Thank you.